right, hello everyone. Thank you for coming today. My name is Caleb Morgan. I'm running for Executive Vice President. I currently serve on ASCWU, and what I want to be able to do with this Executive Vice President position is to be able to reach out to more students. Currently my position kind of brings me to a certain field, and I want to be able to reach out to all the different students at Eastern Washington University and make your guys' lives just a little bit easier while you're here, because we're all on this journey, and it's better if it's a better journey together. So thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you. Candidate Navarro, you have 30 seconds to begin your opening remarks. You can whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon. Woo! Thank you. My name is Jose Francisco Navarro Rodriguez. People simply call me Frank, or you may call me Francisco as well. And I come from the Yakima Valley. I'm a computer science major here at Eastern Washington University. I love science. But I want to tell you a little bit about why I'm doing this. When people ask me, why is it that you're running for this position? I say, because I care about students. Because I want to make sure that every single one of the students here on campus is able to finish their degree, complete their education, and fulfill their dreams. I'm a first-generation student. I have to work in the fields to be able to pay for school and get scholarships. Thank you.
You're 30 seconds. Thank you, Candidate Navarro. Candidate Navarro, the first question will be to you. If you guys wouldn't mind standing on either side of the podium when you're waiting, it would make the transition easier. So Candidate Navarro, when you're done, please step back to your left. Candidate Morgan, when you're done, please step back to your right. Feel free to adjust the microphone as you wish. Candidate Navarro, you have 1 minute to answer this question. The time will begin after I finish reading the question. Once again, candidates, you may ask the moderators to repeat the question once per question, if you so desire. Candidate Navarro, the pub contains office space intended for clubs and organizations. How would you A, promote this space for clubs and orgs to apply for this office space, and B, determine amongst multiple applicants who will receive the space and who will not?
Well, first of all, to start with, I think that we need to make the promise as candidates and as elected officials to make the promise to go into every single club and org meeting so that we can spread out the word about these available spaces. Second of all, next year we're planning to start remodelation of the pub. I believe the pub is a central space in the university. We have most of the services, most of the student services are located here. We need to make sure that we have a food court venue. All the offices are located on that side of the university pub. We need to make sure that every student knows that this is where they can come in and get their services. Whether that's like math tutoring, office spaces, club spaces, this is the central focus for students, and we need to ensure that students know that and they can come in and get their services to be successful academically and extracurricular activities as well.
Thank you, Candidate Navarro. Candidate Morgan, you have 30 seconds to rebut Candidate Navarro's question. Yes. The question was, the pub contains office space intended for clubs and organizations. How would you A, promote this space for clubs and orgs to apply for this office space, and B, determine amongst multiple applicants who will receive the space and who will not?
All right, so it's very important that we advertise to the different clubs and orgs about the benefits of getting a pub office space. It increases your numbers as a club because it increases your marketing techniques and all that kind of stuff. What is important though when it comes to picking the clubs and orgs that do get into the pub, I'm kind of a stickler when it comes to rules and bylaws. I think that they're there for a reason. So that's one of the things that needs to be addressed right away, is to make sure that clubs and orgs are actually in good standing, because that's one of the things, and that's what we need to help them with, is to maintain and stay in good standing so they will have the pub office space. So it's about advertising and making sure that clubs and orgs stay in good condition with the university so that they're able to have the pub office space.
Time is up.
Candidate Morgan, the next question is for you. The pub is a student-owned building. At times, student issues concerning the pub will come in conflict with the administration's agenda. Please describe your intended tactics for advocating for student usage when and if this conflict occurs.
Okay, so administration always does wants to get into the pub because they see it's a huge mecca for students. There's student traffic through here all the time, and they want to be able to utilize that space for their own good. And I think that what we need to do as students is to let them know, and when we're up in administration, to tell them that no, this is our building, and if it's not going to benefit the students, then it can't be put into the pub. And I think I've done that this year already, is making sure the pub spaces, and as much as I can, have been utilized for the students, and that is the first goal. This is the pub for the students, and the administration needs to know that. And so that you need a strong, firm hand to be able to tell the administration, no, the pub is for students, not for administration. If you guys want to come in and help work with us, that's something completely fine. That's what we need to do, is work hand in hand with administration as students, because that's how we get things done. But we're not going to get anything done if we completely shut them out. So working with administration in regards to the pub is a big deal, but they will know and they need to know that the pub is for students. That is our sanctuary. It's where we should be able to go and hang out and not have to deal with the, outside of the administration and all that kind of stuff. So that's my big important thing, is that the administration needs to know that this is for the students.
Thank you, candidate. Candidate Navarro, you have 30 seconds to rebut candidate Morgan's answer. Give him a minute.
Well, again, if I am elected into this position, I will make sure that every single student knows that this is their space. You're paying for these services. Administration services come second. You're paying $2,300 every single quarter. You deserve to have the services that are essential and necessary for you. And I will make sure that I put that out there on the table when it's clear. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to be democratic and delegate and work properly with the administration, but I want to ensure that you know that I'm representing your voices. You deserve better, and it's time for a change.
Ken Navarro, the next question is for you. At times, council members will come in conflict. Pardon me, I had to clear my throat. You just didn't do it. At times, council members will come in conflict with each other, both professionally and personally. As a professional in charge of ensuring that the council acts cohesively and smoothly, how would you deal with this conflict in a manner that continues council productivity?
Well, I think that aside from being a professional and being in a professional setting, from my experiences as president of MECHA and many other activities on campus, I've realized that there is always something very important, and that is have fun. You need to have fun. If you're not a kind of like person that likes to have fun, smile, do activities that are extracurricular, you're going to have tense situations. And I believe it is very important that whenever we have conflicts and problems, we address it together and we speak together. I'm a peacemaker myself. So if you have a problem with person A and B, you need to bring person A and B together and let them speak together. And then we need to make sure that we ensure that we have environments that are safe. Let's say go camping. Let's go have fun, right? Let's go out together on a weekend, because those type of relationships, strong relationships, are only created with friendships and are created in the proper spaces. And I want to make sure that our council is committed to serving students. I want to make sure that our council is safe and is healthy for every single student here at Eastern Washington University, because you all deserve that opportunity to be represented properly, but by all the different council members in at Eastern Washington University.
Thank you, Candidate Navarro. Candidate Morgan, you have 30 seconds to rebut.
In regards to council, my thought is that peace comes through understanding, and I think that's something that plays a part in the council with the 9 positions that are on the council. It's important with retreats and stuff like that. I've already planned a retreat this year, and it went really well, and that's something that we utilize to help to build the team, and that's kind of the big deal. What we know as students is that ASW is like a job. We get paid to do this. It's a career of ours, it's a job of ours, and that's the important thing, is that what students know and what the council members know is that the conflicts that we have, it's a job, and that's the first thing I'll do, is I'll sit them both down and address that conflict, and that will be resolved immediately. But I don't see conflicts happening if you are proactive and not interacting with the conflict after.
The next question is for you, candidate Morgan. The executive vice president leads the council meetings. Keeping in mind that open discourse can be either productive or distracting, please describe your familiarity with Robert's Rules of Order and how strictly you intend to enforce them during the council sessions and work sessions.
So I believe that to make a work session and a council productive, that's the biggest thing, is we need to follow Robert's Rules of Order. And those are strict rules that are about someone has to motion, and then from that it's seconded. And if it's not seconded, then it's the motion is strike. But from there it's motion, seconded, and then there's a discussion. That's an open discussion with everyone in the meeting about their pros and cons of each, and then from there the vote is taken. When it's in discussion, something can be friendly amended, but nothing can be motioned against, so you can't completely motion a random thing. My job, you do get a gavel because you run the meetings, but I'm not very violent, so I wouldn't be a person that pounds a gavel, but they know that I'm a very efficient person, and that's my big deal, is if we're not being efficient, we're not doing our job as student leaders, and that's my thing, is that if the meeting's not going efficiently, I will stop that meeting and make sure that we're right back on track, right where we're supposed to be, because that's how I run meetings. I want things to be done, and I want things done quickly and efficiently, and that's my biggest deal. So meetings with me, when it comes to that, done quick, no running around the topics, no side conversations, it's done, it's all business.
Thank you, Candidate Morgan. Candidate Navarro, you have 30 seconds to rebut Candidate Morgan's answer.
Again, from my experiences, I have always followed the Robert Rules of Order. And I want to ensure that we do follow those rules, that it's a proper setting, it's a professional setting, but more importantly, I think that we need to give the space to every single student out here today to come in and participate. We need to make sure that we ensure an open forum towards the end of the Robert's Rules of Order. We follow professionalism, we get the agenda, but at the same time, you need to be listened to. You need to be able to know that there is council meetings and that you can participate and put out your voice out there. Bring your concerns to the meetings, not just simply follow what the council wants to do, but what you want to do.
Thank you, Candidate Navarro. Candidate Navarro, this will be your last question that you will be allowed a 1-minute response to. The upcoming pub remodel will require a fee from the students. How do you feel about an additional fee being placed on the student body for a pub that they will likely never experience?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I do believe that students have the choice and the power to make decisions when it comes down to very strong decisions like this one. So the first thing we need to do is research. You need to bring out surveys to every single student on campus, put it on EagleNet, ask them if they would like the pub to get remodeled, explain to them the situation and how much it will cost for us to bring this space. But I do believe strongly that this pub, the place here at Eastern Washington University needs to be remodeled. This is the place where most students come in and get their food. This is the place where most students come in and hang out. We need to have more lounges, more spaces with couches, study lounges. We need to have more food services for students available, healthy choices. Somebody told me that they wanted Jimmy John's and a taco truck. Hey, if we take a survey and you want a taco truck, we'll bring it here. I swear. You can tell I'm Mexican, right? Cool. So here's the thing. Where I'm going with this is that I want to make the promise that we ensure that your concerns are going to be met, that we listen to you. If we tell you it's going to cost you $25 extra every quarter and you agree with it, that's okay. But at the same time, I believe that we have enough funds to move it over to spend on that specific budget.
Thank you, Candidate Morgan. You have 30 seconds to rebut Candidate Navarro's answer.
The sad but truth is that the bonds for this current pub end in 2018. So what's going to happen? So this is the best time for us to start investing in the new pub. The way I like to think about it is the larger universities, they have to start somewhere. That's how I kind of think about it. Schools such as, like WSU, if you went there 30 years ago, it's not as big as it is now. And that's what these pub remodels start. It starts a bigger experience for the future of Eastern Washington University. So 10 years from now, when you look back, if the pub's remodeled, it's all big, and we start doing things like this on campus, you can look back and be proud that you went to Eastern Washington University.
Thank you, Candidate.
Candidate Morgan, your last question. As the upcoming pub remodel draws closer, how will you handle critique from the student body on the eventual form the pub will take? Some students will wish for services not offered, and some will disagree with the services offered. How will you take student input into account and still assuage those against the plan?
I'm a person that's all kind of about compromise. I think a big important thing that we need to do starting next year is start to hold focus groups for the pub remodel. That's kind of the biggest thing we need to start working on, is getting students to come to the focus groups, say what they want in the pub, what kind of services they'd like to see. And I've already headed up some focus groups this year, and I think they're very important to do for the students. When it comes to disagreements and what students want, I always believe that compromise is the best answer. What's going to benefit one student might not benefit the other student. But we're a student body as a whole, and we need to make sure that we're benefiting the most students possible. And so that's kind of my take on the whole situation when it comes to conflicts with what goes in the pub and what stays out of the pub.
Thank you.
Candidate Navarro, you have 30 seconds to rebut.
Again, focus groups are very important, of course, but at the same time, you're only outreaching to like 15, 20 students in every focus group. What I mean by this is that we need to have a campus-wide collective progress where we can come together and make decisions on what this place should look like, right? Again, what kind of services you would like to have. And there is no reason why we shouldn't be able to do something like this, putting out a survey out on the internet, on the Easterner, or putting out surveys so the students can really vote on the different decisions that need to be made. I'm a computer science major. We can easily build a website with three-dimensional models where you get to choose whether you want services, food services, or office spaces. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate. Candidate, those were your questions, ladies and gentlemen, for the Executive Vice President. Candidate Morgan, you will have 30 seconds to make closing remarks. You may begin whenever you're ready.
I just want to say thank you all for coming today. The one I want to hit on the most is basically experience. I think that the person that comes into the VP of Exec of ASCW, it's the backbone. It's the person that holds every council person that you elect responsible for their position. And it's important to have someone that's already been part of the organization and seen how it runs to be part of this position. If you don't have that, you're not going to have someone who understands the backbone how the ASCW runs as a whole, and that's very important, because if not, then you're playing catch up into winter quarter and things aren't getting done. So change might be the best, but in this case it can't be, because you need to have that experience to be able to get things done and moving right away in fall
Thank
quarter.
you, candidate. Candidate Navarro, you have 30 seconds in the closing remarks.
It's time for change, first of all. Again, I'm a first-generation low-income student. I've worked in the fields. I worked very hard picking apples and cherries to be able to pay for my education. Last year, I was very glad to get a scholarship from Microsoft, and this is why I'm standing here today before you. I want to make sure that every single one of you has the opportunity to fulfill your dreams, to get your degree. I strongly believe in the dream of education, and I want to ensure and I want to promise every single one of you out there that you will complete your degree, and it's time for you to get the services you deserve. Our graduation rate is 46% in 4 years. That's not fair. Only 1 out of 2 students are making it. You deserve better.
Thank you, candidate. Ladies and gentlemen, one of these gentlemen will be the new executive vice president.